Welcome to this discourse on problem solving. We are on episode 5. When we are discussing matter of facts, the mind goes on a sabbatical. When we are discussing matter of facts, the mind goes on a sabbatical. No problem is explosive in nature. No problem is explosive in nature at a nuclear stage. We make it explosive by virtue of our non-attendance to it. When to detect, how to detect, how much to care for what's ballooning, what's happening at a nuclear stage. Well, I think we'll have to get into some of the peculiar mind theories before you're able to, get further on that. It's only the mind which can travel faster than the incident takes. And that's my firm belief. But to experience the power of the mind is a stage by itself. It's a phase by itself. It doesn't come so easily. So we will discuss that in the context of, the mind theories. I'm author of a book called Mind No Matter, and that's been my pursuit to help myself, if not others, help myself come out of the matter all the time, busy with matter, and to switch on my mind. The matter many times does not allow you to switch on the mind. So you require an absolute solace, an absolute determination before your mind starts working. So more of that further in this discourse. Howsoever brilliant might be a solution that you have found to a problem, howsoever brilliant it might be, it cannot beat the virtue of one effort done to model a solution. Howsoever good, howsoever brilliant you have come out with a solution to a problem, it cannot beat the virtuosity of a model to solve a problem. Unfortunately, we are less concerned about the models. It's only in the business when there is larger number of streams that they are handling, larger number of people, that they realize the value of modeling. But best of the CEOs of the organization who come home, they forget the modeling part. Best of the CEOs, most determined about using model in the office, they will forget to use it at home or in any other social circumstance. We have a very poor respect for modeling. And why it will not be? Because it requires sustained effort. It requires a sustained effort to make modeling happen. But if you want to derive from this little example that I give you, it might inspire you into becoming a better modeler and a more organized modeler. It's like this. If you enter somebody else's kitchen, a kitchen is a grand chemistry of things. So I reckon kitchen is one of the most beautiful assets we have at home for creativity, for trying different processes at a meager cost. The same process, if you try outside the kitchen, it might cost you much more. So in the kitchen, we do not store things, okay, one over another, one over another, one over another. No, we store the things like this. They're vertical. And then there are rows, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in row A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like that, depending on how widespread is your kitchen. An average Indian kitchen can boast of being widespread. Then there is another peculiar thing in the kitchen, and that's the box of spices. The box of spices, and you look into that here. You don't look like this. You look into that top view, and from the level of how much these little utensils, the little ones inside, are filled up, you know what to order, what not to order, what to fill up, what not to fill up. So there is another can which stores a larger quantity. This is more on the operative side. This is not like carrying the whole kitchen to your office. You're just carrying lunch for one day with you. That's a model. I love it. I find it very inspiring. And whether there's a housemaid who works with that, or whether there's a head of the, there's a head lady who works on that, okay, it's vitally useful. It is made a beautiful use of. You just seem to not forget anything. There are those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there is one in the center, 7, okay? And you know, each day, probably most Indian culinary habits, you know, will prevail upon our mind to use all of those 7. If not, majority of them are used. So you don't forget to use it. That's a miniature example of model. It allows you to create more recipes from the same stuff because you have a model. Because you have a model. So, most brilliant solution that one finds to one unique problem cannot be compared with the value of one model that you create. I'm sure some of you are working at very, very senior level. Okay, you have an expanse of problems before you. You must be able to create at least one model in your career time and bring it home. The home will become much more secure a place, much more organized a place. And especially if you're head of the family, try using models. But I will not be too harsh on all of you. I will quietly introduce models, not make it a kind of a jump over, a hop over into a new philosophy of life. Well, if the problems well, if the problems are tenacious, if problems are dedicated, problems are persuasive, why can't we be? We need to be much more dedicated, much more concerned, much more objective with respect to problems. So, having brought you into the sphere of thinking, of being organized, here I sign off for this episode with a message. Come to problem solving. Come to life.